If you've been following flyingrc.net for any length of time, you know that I'm just in love with the Valiant airframe. So when I heard of the 10cc version, I had to have one. It's entirely possible that the Valiant is the best flying airframe to come along in decades. And because it comes from Hangar 9, we get all good equipment with it. I know the folks at Horizon want us to use their 10cc engine in this, but I'm going to use an NGH Pro 9cc just because. You get this engine box to help set this thing up for an electric motor if you want to do that, but we're going to go in gas, so this box is going away. When I first found this piece, I thought somebody forgot to glue on part of the firewall. But this is a specially made template to get the motor mounted right, and to give you 3 patterns. And I expect there's a lot of motors that'll fit these individual patterns more than just the motors listed. And after 30-some years, I get to install beam mounts like we used to use in the glow engines 30-some years ago. As I unpack a plane, I put all the parts that I can into a big plastic tub like this, and all the hardware and smaller parts go into a little plastic tub like this. Since I've been doing this, I haven't lost any parts. The tail wheel is a type of tiller that really works well. There's none of those stupid little springs. They even give you 2 different tail wheels. One's real soft for when you're on asphalt so it doesn't make so much noise, and the other one's for grass. I'm going to use them both on grass. All of the control surfaces remain in proportion to the size of the airframe, which means this is going to be another great flying airplane that likes the rudder. The windshield area is held in with a couple of pins and some strong magnets, and when you take it off, it gives you great access to the batteries if you're flying electric, or the tank if you're flying gas. This access on the front of the plane comes in really handy when you're working with or installing the radio. The top hatch also makes the jump from the giant scale and makes assembling this plane a lot easier. This access is important on the giant scale and even more important on this size plane. Hangar 9 really designed a nice system for holding the servos in the wing for the flaps and ailerons. I like this. These servo mounts come out of the box all assembled and ready to go. We do have to install the hinges, and on the flaps they use a pin type because all the throw they have, we epoxy those in. The elevators, rudder, and ailerons all use CA hinges, which are more than adequate for this size plane and even on my giant scale. One of the things I really like about how Hangar 9 put this fuselage together is this great big cutout on the bottom of the front end. This is going to let a lot of air out of the cowl to promote better cooling. The push rods in this kit are very simple but very effective, and the linkages for the flaps and ailerons are pretty much all built up already. We just have to install them with the servos and make the final adjustments. I have a new site on which we're going to be doing a lot of stuff like making these wing bags and tail feather covers. 10cc Valiant isn't a really expensive plane, but it still deserves some protection so we get less hangar rash. I think it's well worth the effort to protect our planes all we can. And the nice padded bag makes it a lot easier to transport our planes without messing them up. And I make tail feather covers to reduce the chance of dinging them up during transport. And I keep the covers on while I'm working on the plane on the bench. So from here I'm going to mount the engine and start figuring out what kind of radio system we're going to put in it and where all that stuff goes. So stop back and follow the build segments along until we get to where we can fly this plane. And if it flies the way I think it will, y'all can just go wait in the bus because I'm going to be out there doing touch and goes and flying this thing for all I'm worth.